This odd little mid-century dresser has a secret, and it's not a great one. Here we go. This is original. This color, someone didn't, buy this and paint it, and I'll tell you why I know it's original in a bit, but not a fan. Things are definitely not as they seem with this piece. First of all, the wood grain you're looking at is not the actual wood grain. The poles that you see here are not the original poles, and yeah, this just needs a lot of work. There's some mildew here on this leg assembly. What an odd little piece. I'm assuming some of the original hardware broke and this is all that's left of the original hardware. Or maybe someone just didn't like it. Yeah, this wood grain that you see running along the top here and the drawer faces, that's not what the wood underneath looks like. And it's actually just veneer and this paint color. Now, this is a factory applied finish. If I pull open the drawer with the maker's mark, you can see the maker's stamp is actually on the outside of the paint and it's got a perfect line here. Something that almost never happens when some random person does it. You can also see a little bit of overspray on the inside of the drawers. And flipping this around, you can see that the bottom of the drawer is not wood like the sides are. This bottom is made of hardboard. So rather than leave that exposed, they decided to just spray the inside of the drawers. Now, because this isn't wood, it leaves it susceptible to damage from moisture. And you can see in this drawer, something at some point got wet in there and it bubbled up. So I'm gonna have to deal with that as well. This is a pretty unappealing piece, and I don't really know what I'm gonna be able to do for it. I suspect there's gonna have to be some paint involved, but I'm gonna try to save as much as the veneer as possible, but I don't know what the veneer looks like yet underneath. And this veneer was never meant to be seen, so it's probably not gonna be great. Why bother with a piece like this? Well, because not a lot of people would, and my whole MO is to try to keep as much out of landfills as possible. Let's get to work. My name is Angie and I refinish furniture. Sometimes I paint and sometimes I don't, but I always do what I can to save old pieces from the trash. Welcome to my workroom. I don't think I have ever flipped a piece of furniture and did not find either a bobby pin or a sewing needle. You definitely have to be careful when you're cleaning out drawers. Now, I almost made a huge mistake here. I gave it one pull with the scraper and realized that the veneer underneath is actually running in an opposite direction. Now, this is really easy to sneak up on you, even when you know it's a laminate coating, because that's not always the case. But in this case, yeah, the veneer is running vertically and this faux finish, this faux wood grain they put over is running horizontally. So you have to be really careful with that. Now in this situation, because there is veneer underneath of this faux finish, I could definitely use a stripper. Sometimes the laminate is right on top of pressed wood or chipboard and you definitely don't want to use a stripper in that case. You'll have a mess. But because this old finish is on top of a wood veneer and is super flaky and brittle, I just opted to scrape the majority of it and sand the rest. Now keep in mind, this veneer was never meant to be seen. This isn't a situation where they simply stained it and put a clear coat over it. They completely obscured this veneer because it's not very high quality. It's pretty bad actually. You can see some discoloration here. I am going to do a light sanding and see if I can even it out somewhat, but I don't have high hopes for it. We're going to see what happens. A couple of the drawers had some areas where that veneer was pulling loose from the substrate, so I added some wood glue and some tape to just press that together until it dried. You can actually see here just how brittle that finish was. This painter's tape pulled some of it off. These black lines are made to look like routed marks that are shadowed, but they're actually just paint. They're not routed at all. I hate painted drawers. I hate them so much. But because these are already painted, I'm trying to do this as quickly and economically as possible. I am going to repaint. But as I was scuff sanding, the age of this piece dawned on me and this color, and I realized I didn't do a lead test swab, and that's something you should do on older pieces like this. Now, I had a few false positives initially because the color of the dust that I had kicked up from sanding was coming off on that little Q-tip. So once I wiped all of that off, got all the dust off and retested it, it did come back negative, thank goodness. But just a reminder, try not to forget, like I did, to lead test any paint kind of basically pre-1980, and I might even push that a little bit because you know how people like to use paint years later. Some of it does sneak through after 1980. Now this was that drawer with the bubbled bottom. You can see I've sanded it down so that it's flat. When I go to repaint this, I'm going to give this a little bit of a spray with some de-waxed shellac just to seal that sort of MDF stuff in the hardboard, and then paint right over it. For this leg assembly, I'm just going to be sanding the old finish off, but before I do that, I want to make sure I get rid of any mold or mildew that's on it, so I'm cleaning it really well before I sand it. This is actually a pretty unique leg system. I haven't seen anything quite like this in the hundreds and hundreds of pieces I've done over the years, so that's kind of neat. So after I got the leg assembly and the legs down to raw wood, I went and scuff sanded the rest of the piece. Now, you'll see there's some areas where the wood is exposed. This is me just trying to smooth out what's already there. I'm going to be painting the main body of the dresser, including all of these stretchers here. There are some areas where the veneer was torn or missing, so I'm just adding a little bit of wood filler in there, and then I'll sand it all smooth, and we're going to paint over that. As far as the top goes, I am going to try to salvage the veneer underneath. Again, this is a very, very low quality wood. This is not something that would normally be stained, but we're going to try to stain it and give this piece a completely different look. If I go very gently on the top here, you can see I'm able to basically pull off the top coat. And then if I put a little bit more pressure, that's when I scrape down through that thick, fake wood grain. Now this stuff can fly up in your eye, so if you're ever scraping something like this, make sure you're using eye protection. I just wanted to take a moment to say a huge thank you to everyone who's followed along with me in my journey from my first video in 2021 to now. You guys have helped build this channel into what it is today. Sometimes I feel like I don't say that enough because things have been really, really bad the last year with my channel, but I'm trying to hang in there as long as possible. So thank you to everyone for all of your help and support over the years. So I'm still going to do one more light sanding here, but you can see again all that discoloration and disjointedness of the veneer that was used here. The top is a lot better looking because it's kind of all one piece. Now if you remember, the hardware holes were off-centered and there were 2 holes for each pull, so I've filled those because I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to do for new hardware. So I'm basically just going to start over from scratch. I'm going to add that shellac to the bottom of these drawers where some of that hardboard has shown through, and we're going to do the final sanding on the drawers, and then we're going to paint them on the inside. So you can see here that that light sanding did clean up some of that discoloration, but not all of it. I'm going to have to use a stain color or paint wash, something that's going to sort of camouflage these imperfections. I have a little bit of elm wood left in this jar here that I don't really know what to do with, and Algonquin is the color I normally use for sort of a beigey paint wash. So we're going to mix those together, and we're going to get sort of a light kind of taupey color that we're going to paint wash over top of this veneer, and hopefully between the paint wash and a little bit of an oil stain that I'm going to put over top of the paint wash, we can get it to where it looks okay. With paint washes, especially in the summer or if you live somewhere where it's warm year round, time is the enemy. So you want to get the paint on, and it's a paint and water mix. You want to get it on as quickly as possible. Doesn't really matter what direction you put it in. Get it on the surface, flood the surface, then you can wipe it in the direction of the grain, and then you're going to immediately wipe it back. Now the lighting's not great here. This looks fairly opaque, but you'll see in a bit it's actually not. But this is a very fast process. It was quite hot in the garage this day, so I was working, especially on the top, as fast as possible without flinging paint everywhere. Now I mentioned there was a part 2 to this process. I did the paint wash to try to camouflage some of the discoloration in the veneer and some of those minor imperfections, but then I wanted to warm it up a little bit, and you can see here the difference in color. What I did, once the paint was dried, and I very lightly sanded it because water-based paint washes can raise the grain, so you want to very lightly sand it back, but then I added a gel stain on top. Again, I had to work really quickly here because of the temperature. This started to set up in less than a minute. Normally you have a few minutes. But basically, same thing, I just put this on in any direction, wipe it in the direction of the grain after you get it all on, and then you're going to immediately wipe it back. And this just gave me a little bit of a richer tone. You can start to see that wood grain pop a little bit more. And then once this is dry, we're going to put some Odie's oil on it to seal it. So because this is one of those projects that kind of takes shape as we go along, at this point I had no idea what color I was going to paint the rest of it. So I've got these here right in front of my paint. As you can see, I have a million options. I know I wanted to do something either in the brown or green realm. I thought that would look really nice with the tones we have going on here, and I still haven't painted the drawer boxes, but that's coming. I kind of held up a couple of different ones here. We're going to move this right out of the way because I'm done with purple for a while. I initially thought maybe going lighter would be good, but I don't think there would be enough contrast. So these were my 4 choices. My 2 favorite that I was leaning toward were Oakham and Everett. Ultimately, I decided to use Everett. It's a beautiful green, and I think it's going to complement this really well. Now you may be wondering why I'm not using a primer here. I always tell people, if you're unsure of anything, whether it's adhesion or bleed through, if you're unsure, prime. With Fusion Mineral Paint, I've been using this paint for years. I know it inside and out. It adheres really, really well to almost anything. And in 99% of cases, unless I'm going over a wood that tends to bleed tannins into the paint, like mahogany, for example, I don't use a primer. I have 0 problems with adhesion, and it saves product and money. But if you're in doubt, go ahead and prime. Okay, so here is the point where a decision has to be made. What am I gonna do with this friggin' painted drawer? I hate when drawers are painted inside and out. It drives me crazy, but here's the thing. This is factory. This isn't something that somebody slopped on. There's no globs or runs and drips and stuff everywhere. This bottom is not plywood. If this was plywood, I would probably be tempted, semi-tempted, to strip all the paint off. I can't strip this. I would have to replace it. So I could try to strip everything but the bottom, like get all these sides sanded down and stuff. Again, there's 1, 2, 3, 6 drawers. It's gonna take forever to get all this factory stuff off. I think what I'm gonna do is clean it. The color itself is just, it's a bit much. And considering my last dresser, that's kind of funny because that was a bit much also. But I think I'm gonna clean it, I'm gonna scuff sand it, and I'm gonna repaint this in a more neutral color and possibly put some sort of drawer liner on the bottom just to protect this sort of fake bottom. I think that's my plan. And that's exactly what I did. You can see I've got one coat down on the drawers. I opted to go with eucalyptus. I thought that would be a nice color to pair with the green of the cabinet itself. And while that first coat is drying, I'm going to go ahead and do the paint wash on the leg assembly to match everything else. I opted to use Otis oil to seal all of the wood, and on the paint I used my favorite Fusion Mineral Paint Beeswax and Hemp Oil combo. In both cases you apply the product, leave it for a little bit, and then come back and wipe all of the excess off. Now here you're about to watch me screw up for the second time. My plan was to use bar handles on the left and right columns of drawers. This is a drawer from the left column, but I'm supposed to do bar handles here, not a center hole. And I pretty much realized right away that I messed up. Now the reason I wanted to use a bar handle here instead of a knob was in the hopes that it would sort of camouflage those previous two holes, which you can see there, which were off center and low. So now that these are knobs, you can kind of see those a little bit more than I planned. And here's an example of the bar that I was going to use. I was going to use bars here, center knob in the middle, and then bars on the left side. But now I'm doing all knobs, and it just is what it is. This is how things go sometimes, as frustrating as it is. I might try and do some touch-ups on those holes with maybe some paint to try to camouflage them a bit, but at this point I'm pretty disappointed with myself. I hate it. I hate it. Crap, I hate it. Part of the reason I like leaving bits in where I'm disappointed with something or I mess something up is because it brings a realness to what I'm doing here. I'm not a big fan of perfectly polished videos where nothing ever goes wrong, everything turns out perfectly, even though behind the scenes that's probably not the case. So I try not to do that on my channel as much as possible. Considering what I started with, yes, this piece is a million times better. A million times better. Someone is gonna love it, someone's gonna buy it and enjoy it. For me personally, this did not turn out the way I wanted, and you guys are always very quick to point out that I shouldn't be so hard on myself. But I find it very hard to control when I'm disappointed, and I don't want to leave that out of my video because I'm a real person and that's a real feeling. So while I think this has come a million miles, I kind of hoped that this would be a little bit more refined. I was hoping that those hardware holes that I had to fill were a little bit more hidden. This is a flip on an extremely cheap piece. I've done what I can for this piece, and it's time to let it go. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching, taking the time out of your day to watch me flip a piece of furniture, even if I hate it. Enjoy the reveal, and I'll see you next time.